mashallah.
Germany, France, and Belgium have said that they would arrest Netanyahu if the ICC warrant is issued. Is this just a public relations ploy or a sign of growing fissures in the EU?
No, I don't think it's a sign of growing fissures in the EU. I think it's a sign of a number of things. One is they have to uphold their international institutions, and they're very self-conscious at this point, particularly at this point, very self-conscious of the fact that the ICC has, up until now, been viewed as a tool of basically white Western countries prosecuting non-white, non-Western official enemies, almost inevitably all of whom they supported until, you know what I mean? They go after people that they always initially supported. So Netanyahu shouldn't be any different. They usually end up going after prosecuting criminals that they built up, that they're accomplices. So America's a big snitch. They need some kind of credibility, and again, that the importance of denying their racism and bias is going to become increasingly important as the Global South becomes increasingly important, and as the Muslim states become increasingly important, and their relationship to the Muslim states and the Global South become more important. They have to change their tune a little bit. So part of it, wait a minute. Part of it is that they want to uphold the legitimacy and credibility of their international institutions and their commitment to them. And then you can draw from that also the fact that these countries, and the rest of Europe is going to go along with that, except for maybe Hungary. The rest of Europe will also go along with that. So that shows you also the increasing importance of the Global South, and particularly the Arab states, particularly the Gulf states, the importance of those countries to the countries of Europe. It shows you an increasing, to a certain extent, it also shows you a rift between Europe and the United States. And I think the most obvious thing about it is that it shows their very keen desire to put the complete and total blame for the genocide on Netanyahu, and their willingness to throw him under the bus. I think they would probably like to see Netanyahu arrested and prosecuted, and then everyone else can pretend that their hands are clean. They never thought that these international, so-called international institutions would actually operate as international institutions. They were only ever supposed to operate as institutions for the internationalization of American policy. But it turns out that other countries can actually utilize them. And as those other countries and coalitions of countries become more important and more influential and more powerful, they hold more sway over those officially international institutions, and maybe can actually make them what they always claimed to be. They can actually turn them into what they always claimed to be, which is part of why we talk about Article 6 and why we don't say just abandon the UN. The institution exists, and it can be repurposed for what it was originally stated to be for. The institution exists, the various capacities and capabilities and programs of that institution exist. We know how they're used now, and we know why they're used the way they're used now, which is, again, America's presence at the UN. But that institution exists, and it can be repurposed for its originally stated purpose.